Most men have no idea how much their back says about them. People tend to obsess over the chest because it's the first thing you see when you face the mirror. A broad chest, some rounded shoulders, arms that look full. Those features make you feel like you're on the right path. But something surprising happens the moment that same person turns around. Suddenly, the illusion falls apart. The back, instead of looking powerful and developed, looks empty, narrow, soft, almost like it belongs to someone who barely trains. And if you've ever experienced that moment yourself, where you turn around in the mirror and instantly feel smaller, you already understand exactly what I mean. You work hard, you sweat, you row, you pull, you grind through every back day with commitment, and still your back refuses to transform the way you expect. During your workout, you feel pumped. During those few minutes after your last set, the muscles feel alive. But once the pump fades, you're looking at the same familiar shape, the same outline, no new width, no new thickness, no visual change at all. And eventually, it makes you wonder whether you're doing something wrong, or worse, if your body just isn't capable of growing in the way you want. Most people respond to this frustration the same way. They push harder instead of smarter. They increase sets, stack more machines into the routine, add long workouts full of angles and variations. They try to chase a pump that feels productive. But the truth is, the more complicated the routine becomes, the less effective it actually is. The back isn't like your arms or chest. It isn't a simple flex and grow muscle group. It's an entire structure made of multiple layers, each one responsible for shape, size, posture, and power. And when you train it out of order or without any mind-muscle connection, you lose almost every bit of potential progress. For me, this was a painful lesson. I believed effort was the answer. If I trained until failure, if I left the gym exhausted, if I walked home sore, then surely I was doing the right thing. But the mirror didn't agree. I didn't see new definition. I didn't see any dramatic shape change. I didn't see that wide, powerful frame that I saw on people who seemed to know what they were doing. It shook my confidence. Not because I wasn't trying, but because I couldn't understand what was missing. Eventually, I discovered something that completely changed my training. It wasn't about the exercises themselves. I wasn't choosing the wrong movements. My issue was hidden in the order, the intent, and the execution. I was doing the right exercises at the wrong time, in the wrong rhythm, and with zero awareness of where the tension was supposed to go. When I stripped my entire back routine down to only 3 foundational movements and 1 strategic finisher, everything changed. My back started responding almost immediately. The shape improved, the width expanded, the density increased. It felt like I had unlocked a part of my body that had been asleep for years. In this rewritten breakdown, I'm going to walk you through those 3 essential movements and the 1 finishing exercise that ties everything together. No gimmicks, no trendy advice, no overloaded routines. Just a clean, logical, biomechanically sound approach that forces your back to grow. Before we get into the details, if you're already resonating with this, if any part of this story felt uncomfortably familiar, remember to subscribe, because what's coming next has the potential to permanently change how you train. Exercise 1. Pull-ups, the honest test. Pull-ups expose everything. Your strengths, weaknesses, and training gaps become completely obvious the moment you hang from that bar. Many people think they train pull-ups, but what they actually do is attempt them. There's a massive difference. You can watch someone jump up, swing their legs, kick their hips forward, yank their chin over the bar, drop like a rock, then repeat the chaos. And they'll still say they did pull-ups. The problem is, those aren't pull-ups. Those are convulsions with hope mixed in. The back doesn't get engaged. The lats barely fire. The upper back isn't recruited. The arms take over completely, and the movement becomes pure momentum, not strength. I spent years doing exactly that, chasing numbers instead of mastery, trying to hit 10, 12, 15 reps, even though none of them were clean. I breathed hard. I sweated. I felt like I had accomplished something, but the results didn't change. My back looked exactly the same week after week. Everything finally shifted when I changed the way I approached the setup. I leaned my torso slightly back, braced my core, and imagined pulling my elbows downward toward my waist instead of trying to drag my chin above the bar. This altered the movement entirely. Suddenly, I could feel my lats engaging. I could feel the scapula retracting and depressing. The tension went where it was supposed to go. My grip also changed. For the longest time, I used a wide grip, because that's what everyone said, built wider lats. But the truth? A wider grip reduces your lat activation. Shoulder width grip is the sweet spot. It allows you to keep tension on your back instead of dumping it into your arms and shoulders. But the biggest breakthrough came when I slowed everything down. I stopped chasing high reps and started focusing on perfect ones. 8 controlled pull-ups with a 3-second ascent, a pause at the top, and a slow 4-second descent. No swinging, no cheating, no shortcuts. When I committed to that style of training, my back responded more in 1 month than it had in the previous 2 years. For every back day, pull-ups come first. 3 to 4 intentional sets. No ego, no rushing, just pure connection. Pull-ups set the tone, activate the right areas, and make every exercise that follows more effective. Exercise 2, single-arm dumbbell row, the depth builder. This exercise changed everything for my back's thickness. Before I refined it, my dumbbell rows were nothing more than sloppy weightlifting. I pulled heavy, but I never pulled correctly. My elbow flared too far out. My torso rotated. My shoulder drifted. I was moving weight from point A to point B, but my back wasn't doing the real work. Depth doesn't come from heavy rows. It comes from intentional rows. The moment I started focusing on driving my elbow toward my hip instead of toward the ceiling, the movement transformed. My lats locked in instantly. I felt the contraction deep in the muscle, not on the surface, not in the arms, but in the fibers that actually create thickness. The setup matters a lot. Your knee needs to be firmly planted. Your core has to be tight. Your back cannot round. You need a stable foundation so the movement becomes precise instead of chaotic. One more thing this exercise does extremely well is expose imbalances. Everyone has a dominant side. It's unavoidable. But the dumbbell row forces you to address that difference because each side must carry its own weight, literally. And the more balanced your sides become, the more symmetrical your back looks. My preferred range is 3 or 4 sets per arm, 8 to 10 reps. Slow negative, strong squeeze, deliberate form. This is an exercise you sculpt with, not one you brute force through. Exercise 3, seated cable row, triangle handle, the width multiplier. If pull-ups give you structure and dumbbell rows give you depth, the seated cable row gives you width and overall volume. I used to overlook this machine completely. It felt too simple, too comfortable, too beginner. I would sit down, pull quickly, and move on. But the day I stopped rushing and actually trained the movement with purpose, everything changed. The machine gives you something unique, stability. Your feet are locked in, your body is grounded, and there's almost no opportunity to cheat. Because your position is fixed, your back is forced to handle the work. But there are 2 keys that make this exercise special. Lead with your elbows, not your hands. Think about pulling your elbows backward and slightly inward. Imagine trying to squeeze a pencil between your shoulder blades. Set your scapula before you pull. Most people start the pull with rounded shoulders, but when you pre-retract and then begin the row, you activate deeper fibers in your mid-back and lower lats. Time under tension is the secret ingredient here. I pause at the squeeze for 2 seconds, then release for 3 to 4 seconds. This builds genuine muscle density, not just pump. I stick with 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, clean, controlled, and consistent. Bonus exercise, rope lat pull down, the detail sculptor. This final movement is where refinement happens. It's not heavy. It's not impressive to look at. Most lifters skip it, and that's why most people never get the razor-sharp lower lat detail that separates a good back from an aesthetic one. This exercise targets the outer edges, the lower lats, and the areas responsible for that dramatic V taper. The key is the angle. Lean slightly forward, brace your core, and pull the rope down while spreading it outward, like you're trying to wrap your lats around your body. The contraction becomes significantly deeper when you do this correctly. And then comes the eccentric. The release must be slow and controlled. That's where growth happens. 3 seconds up, 2 second squeeze at the bottom, 12 to 15 reps, 3 sets. Pure refinement. This movement finishes every session for me without exception, bringing it all together. You don't need 10 movements for your back. You don't need to spend hours in the gym. You don't need to try every cable attachment or machine your gym has. What truly builds a powerful back is structure and intention. Here is the exact sequence. Pull-ups. Activate and set the foundation. One-arm dumbbell row. Build depth and fix asymmetries. Seated cable row, triangle. Add width and density. Rope lat pull down, sculpt and refine. 4 movements, 1 plan, endless progression. When you execute these exercises with deliberate form and connect to your muscles instead of chasing numbers, your back begins to grow in a way you can actually see and feel. Your posture improves, your frame widens, your shirts fit differently, and your confidence rises. The question now is simple. What are you changing in your training after learning this? If this breakdown gave you even one new insight, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and stick around. I'll keep giving you the guidance you need, rooted in biomechanics, free of fluff, and focused on real-world results.